Hey, true believers, Chris Mack coming at you today with Suicide Squad issue 38. And I have been chomping at the bit to get this comic book since we reviewed Suicide Squad issue 23. If you don't know what I mean, spoilers are going to abound because I really do want to point out why this comic book is so important. Now, as we dive into this, the print date on this was February of 1990. The creators are Jerry Ostrander doing the plot, Robert Greenberger doing script, Luke McDowell layouts, Jeff Isherwood doing the finishes, Todd Klein was the letterer, Carl Gafford was the colorist, and Dan Raspler was the editor. Now, this was called Caging the Tiger, and this focuses, as you can see here, obviously on Bronze Tiger, who I believe, in my opinion, is an underrated character. I feel like if they get the right person, this character would really pop on the screen, but sadly, it just seems like talent's not there because this is an excellent guy. And whenever he's in a character, a comic or a movie, my particular favorite one was, it wasn't Enter the Dragon. It was a Batman something the Dragon. And it had a bunch of really cool, like 70s-esque feel to it, like the Japanese, Kung Fu films from that era. Very excellent animated film if you haven't seen it. Now we're focusing here on the LOA, the Louisiana Ordnance Association, and what they're wanting to do is they're pushing back against the government's, war on drugs, and they want to push their cocaine out on the street, but there's a twist to it. Essentially what it is, they want to turn their users into kind of like sleeper agents so that when the time's right, or if the U.S. government really tries to shut them down, they can call upon their mindless zombies. Now, one thing that makes me laugh is once they've made their plan obvious, the guy goes, "There is a way our plan could fail, of course, a way you've not foreseen before. What if the U.S. government legalizes cocaine in the next 24 hours? It will spoil our distribution system." And they all just start laughing because, yeah, and I'm not even going to get into the whole Ollie North stuff, and no, we're not going to go there. We're just going to leave it at that, and just thought that was kind of funny that he made that joke there at the end. Now, I talked about how this comic book is kind of dry. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of military suits sitting around talking about the Bronze Tiger and how they feel that he is untrustworthy to lead the Suicide Squad since Rick Flag kind of cracked and has apparently disappeared, which if you guys know what issue that was, let me know. But there's this guy here, Faraday, talking against the leader whose name is Still, and Still really wants to dig deep into the Black Panther, as where Fairway saying, this guy went to Apocalypse and brought a majority of the Suicide Squad home with him, even though the majority of the mission itself kind of went foobar. He was able to bring people safely home. And that's the other character I was trying to think of, Richard Dragon. I think he was the other one in that Batman animated film. But anyway, they don't trust him because he was at one point, he was a decorated military person, I believe, if I remember correctly. But then he was kidnapped by the Leagues of Assassins, which is the Ra's al Ghul's sect. And it took, Batman kind of bringing him down. But they said not at the cost that it was. I mean, Faraday says that when he went up against him, he said it was literally like fighting a tiger to take this man down. Because apparently you find out he's from Central City, which, if that's familiar to you, that's the hometown of the Flash. And then he went and studied under many martial artists until he became one of the deadliest weapons next to Batman. And I like as Faraday leaves the beginning of the meeting, he goes, "Watch your tail, Turner," because Ben Turner is the Bronze Tiger. And then there's two other characters. There was a recent Suicide Squad movie that just came out where Christian Slater voiced Deadshot, which was really good. It wasn't Hell to Pay. It had something to do with immortality because Amanda Waller said she had cancer, yada, yada, yada. But anyway, there's two characters in there named Punch and Julie. They made a sort of a cameo in the beginning, and they're supposed to be almost as unstable as the Joker. So here we see Julie, and this was, I thought, kind of interesting, and I wish, again, that this would have been something that they would have explored more, because a lot of these B characters, when you really start reading up on them, it's like, damn, I wish I could see more of them, like the Bronze Tiger. Katana has always been my personal favorite from Batman and the Outsiders, and later the more predominant Suicide Squad comics with Harley and Captain Boomerang. But anyway, Julie. She goes, I thought maybe it was the flu Bummerbutt had before we went to Los Angeles in that icky mansion. Or maybe the cold that Punch had before Apocalypse. And the doctor says, Julie, whatever I have, Dr. White, I'm sure I got it from Punch. Oh, you have that, rat child. I love that. She's just thinking, she's like, I can't believe how naive this woman is. Now think, girl, when was the last time you had your period? Let's see. It was right before Los Angeles. Or was that job we did in Ogaden? 4 or 5? Oh, I don't know. Does 3.5 months sound right? It better, because that's how far along the baby is. Baby, you're pregnant, child. And so we kind of get a build-up on a story arc there, and she's just kind of like, ugh. Now here, this next part. Again, spoilers abound, so if you don't want to be spoiled by a review, pause this, go get this book online or your local comic shop, wherever the hell you can get it, and now you're back. Now there was a character we saw back in issue 23, which I will make sure to leave a card somewhere here, guys, that you can look at your convenience. But she was sort of like the resident IT tech there at Belle Reve. So you see, what's her name? Oh my God, Waller. Amanda Waller walk in. She goes, you there, Oracle? She goes, hello, Amanda. Where's Flo tonight? We're going to have to make some changes. Flo died on a mission. It was a waste, Oracle. A damn stupid waste. You know any good computer technicians? Understood. Oracle out. Now, issue 23 is like the first, I guess you could say, cameo appearance of Oracle, and I'm sure you guys know, you see where I'm going with this. However, before I do the reveal, it took me forever to track down where the hell this happened after this particular issue. So with that said, this is the first full appearance of Barbara Gordon being introduced as Oracle. And you can see that she's just absolutely wrecked by the death of Flo. Because I guess over the course of those 10 plus issues, they became friends, her and Flo. And from what I understand is Flo was always pushing to go on missions, and Waller was like, no, I need you here. And I want to read this Apocalypse mission, because it just sounded like it was like hell on earth, what they had to go through against Apocalypse and not contacting Mr. Miracle, etc., so forth. But anyway, with that said, yeah, sorry, I got sidetracked there for a second. I had a hell of a time, and this has been something I've been trying to figure out for years now, is okay, back in 88 was when they did The Death in the Family and The Killing Joke. And I couldn't figure out, I was like, okay, so where chronologically does this tie in? So if you want to see how Barbara Gordon retired, before they did The Killing Joke, they made a Batgirl special, #1 or something like that, or an annual, I can't remember, which I'm getting in the mail. Once I get it, we will go over it. And it shows how she finally kind of gave up the crime-fighting life to just live a normal life, and that's where we kind of pick up with The Killing Joke. And then after she was crippled, we don't really see her again. Oh God, how long is it? It's a while in the Batman comics. I saw it. I don't think it's issue 451. If you guys know, let me know it on the comments. But anyway, with that said, Suicide Squad 23, we just all of a sudden see this computer screen say, hello, I'm Oracle. And think of this at the time. No one knew. I was like, okay, Oracle. Now we see here, and I like that the writers and the visual artists here doing visual storytelling made sure to put this here to kind of, if people are like, who the hell is this? It at least makes sense to see this, and then modern criminology to know that this is Barbara Gordon, now in a wheelchair. So even though it is heart-wrenching as scene as we see Barbara mourning the loss of her friend, it's just nice to finally see her reappear after the Killing Joke and kind of see where it lands in terms of comic continuity. So that was a treat for me. And that's the only panel we get, which is impactful enough. Then we see Ben entering the chamber to talk to Still and the rest of his board members. And Still is saying, why did you ignore my, my direct orders to go to Apocalypse? You're a professional, Turner, so I'm not going to play games with you. Why did you directly disobey my orders and go to Apocalypse? I disobeyed no order. I was told not to contact Mr. Miracle and told not to use Felong. I didn't. Your orders never said anything about the forever people or volunteers found in asylums. My orders were very clear, Turner. Do not go to Apocalypse. How can I permit you to remain mission leader if you don't understand the most basic of instructions? And so this Inquisition, for lack of a better word, just starts to degrade because Still just really begins to break down Turner and saying, you like violence, don't you? He goes, and he says here, you say you don't kill, but yet when you were a boy, you murdered a junkie that broke in to your house and started threatening your family. And it says here, he goes, you lost control, didn't you, Ben? When I saw that man beat my father, as I looked down on the dead body, I felt sorry and scared. But what scared me was I wasn't sorry for killing him. I was sorry it ended so soon. That's why I got into the martial arts, to control the rage. But I still got off on the conflict, and it wasn't the rage that needed controlling. It was the joy. The joy I felt knowing that every day I learned better how to hurt people. And I knew that I was really good. And so this leads to why he took off on his walkabout to find a sensei that could help him control the rage. And he did, until the League of Assassins that turned him into the Bronze Tiger. And so still, and the one thing about as we saw in the panels, is the League of Assassins made this mask for him, saying you can put the rage in here so that when you kill, you can see it as the Bronze Tiger and not Ben Turner. And so Still brings out a replica and says, then you'll put this on for me, won't you? And Ben just doesn't know what to do. All these memories of his past flood back, and it starts to work on him. And you come to find out that even though he's done his best to say that he is now in control of his rage, coming back from the brink from what the League did to him, one of the reasons he wants to be mission leader is because he does enjoy the suffering of others. So even though there's sitting and talking, the way that it's written, you feel the stress that Ben's going under, the way that they're digging at him and finding every little thing that's going to hurt him or drudge up something from the past that makes him reveal his true self. So guys, Suicide Squad issue 38, it may seem dry the first time around, but when you see how it's more of a character exploration with some awesome little build-ups for future plots with Barbara, Julie, and some other stuff that I didn't go over here because I want you guys to read the book in its entirety, you are going to appreciate this book a whole hell of a lot more compared to what a lot of, when you see characters in modern comics just kind of standing around and talking and you're like, Jesus, this sucks. This was excellent, and I highly, highly recommend it, from the great old school art to the excellent storytelling. So if you've enjoyed what you've seen, please first and foremost support your local comic shop and pick up a copy. If you've enjoyed this review, we really would appreciate if you take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you could possibly know. And if you won't mind hitting that fancy little Tiger bell next to subscribe. That way we continue to upload content. You guys get notified. Come to the channel, and we love talking with y'all and hearing your thoughts and feedback down in the comments below or our social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description. So with all that said, thank you so much for stopping by. Hope y'all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.